Right, so small follow-up, but on this one we're going to cover uh, the other situation, which is it always necessarily degradation? So this will apply main to stock frequencies. Now, why? Because again, as I said before, um, we need to look at it historically and kind of backtrack, right? So, have we ever observed an unstable i9-13900K at stock? There probably has been. I don't know of the CPU, and I've never experienced it. I've had a lot of i9s. I've never heard of it, but I'm sure it's possible. 12900K, okay? Intel spec. So we're going to say 5.1p, 3.9e. Vendor spec, MB vendor spec. It's a 16 core, right? The ring frequency is irrelevant for now. We don't have to worry about that. Okay. 1300K, same deal, but this is 24 cores, obviously. And then we've got the vendor spec. For some reason, they decided that they just from their testing, you know, it's just that the CPUs are so good that they can just do 5.5 apparently. It's what they've decided. So obviously they must be right. I guess. We go 5.6p, which is very doable on the CPU. But the vendor spec is going to be obviously the very, very ambitious amount of 5.7, which is quite something. Look, maybe they saw something that we didn't in testing. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how you make the same mistake twice. Like it's not like this is something where it was like unavoidable, it was a mistake. It was like no, this is retarded. Like what? Like how did you make the same mistake twice? How? Like Intel spec it's literally right here. It says 5.6 and it's just like no, 5.7. It's like, what? Like how? Why? I don't understand. Like what did you see that made you decide this was a good idea? I just don't get it, man. Like this was a problem the previous gen and you just like no, just repeat the same like, why? It's like I almost want to say like was this on purpose? Like it couldn't have been on purpose. But like this it just doesn't make any sense, dude. Like it just makes no sense. I don't know why they would do that. And so unfortunately what that means is yeah, it depends on the vid curve they choose, but it really doesn't matter too much. Um some unlucky crap samples are not going to run vendor spec. Simple. The chips were not validated. Like, hello? Like, oh, why is my i9-13900K not running 5.7 at stock? No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Like, Intel literally did not test your CPU at 5. It literally did not do that. Like, Intel literally do not promise you 5.7 under all-core load. They literally do not. Okay? My 3900K literally does not have a 5.5 gigahertz boost. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. It's not 5.5. It isn't, okay? These you can completely disregard. This is like single core boosts and just you never see these numbers, but like this is the actual like turbo frequency, right? It's why they call it the performance core max turbo frequency. This is what the Intel engineers have spec the CPU to run, when it's running its full core load. It's what they're confident in. The 12900K, apparently they were confident in like 5.1. The vendors looked at that and they were like, no chance. And you know what? They're completely correct, because some i9-12900Ks couldn't even run 5.1, right? They couldn't even run it. So like I had an i9-12900K, they literally could not do 5.1 gigahertz. So imagine if the spec was 5.1. Imagine, like I would have had the exact same issue a lot of you guys have with your 13900Ks. Well, not a lot of you guys, some of you guys. This is be real. Like this is a very, very restricted issue that happens to some very, very unlucky people out there. Like it really sucks, but it happens. And so the only solution is, again, is to augment the vendor VF curve by a small increment of voltage, maybe 25 millivolts or 50 millivolts. You don't really want to go higher than that, higher than 50. You shouldn't have to go higher than 50. And unfortunately, in some scenarios, it might not even work, because this is compounded by the degradation thing, but I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's a mess, man. It's a mess. It's a mess. It's a complete mess. It's a headache to work through. It is such a mess and just such a garbage, unnecessary like problem that is just put there by stupidity. I don't understand it. No one understands it. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have to make sense. I don't even know, dude. Like, it's just silly. But yeah, so that's a small follow up. If for example, like let's say, the previous video does not explain your issue. Maybe something else you're dealing with. Maybe it isn't what I described. Maybe there's a degradation. There might not be. It might just be the case of the CPU not being able to run the vendor spec, which is above Intel spec. And in that scenario, fuck it, just RMA your chip. Fuck it, I don't care. Like, just RMA it, whatever. Like, it's Intel's problem. It's the vendor's problem. It's not your problem. Just like, they've got to sort that mess up between themselves. They got to go negotiate. It isn't your problem. It surely is not your problem. So, yeah. Go ahead, guys. RMA those chips. Get yourselves your well-deserved, golden samples. Turn those garbage silicon samples back in. And yeah, just don't worry about Intel. They'll be fine. They can sustain the damage with their billions, and it's their fault anyway. So yeah, all good, guys. Cheers. Whoa, that didn't work.